Julia. Welcome to Super Talk Show.
Hi, it's nice to see you. Thank you very much for inviting me to this talk show.
It's great to have you with us, Supermodel. Captain Model. So can you give us a small introduction about yourself, your journey in your model career, and also, just you as a person?
Well, I'm a class of 2021 alumni at ASW. I started my modeling career quite early. Even as a kid, I was in some TV commercials. Then as I got older, I started to do some more modeling. And then I decided that I'll take a gap year to focus on modeling and just take advantage of this opportunity to travel on contracts and do modeling full time. And so I signed a contract with an agency in Milan, and that's what I'm doing during my gap year now. And I'm looking also for other travel opportunities. And the other aspect that I think you wanted me to talk about is the my involvement with precious plastic at ASW. So that is an initiative that we started when I came to ASW, so when I was in 10th grade. And we then started to like make a group and then talk about maybe implementing it into ASW. And now 3 years later, I've seen that it's running and it's a success from what I've seen from pictures and I've heard from people involved in it right now. So that was something that I did because I am passionate about recycling and I thought, and also like robotics and engineering as well. But another interest of mine, like my biggest interest, is probably economics. And now after my gap year, I will continue my educational journey at the University of Oxford studying economics and management.
Wow, that's really cool. You start with the Wi-Fi. Can you start with talking a little bit about your involvement in precious plastic? So how did you come across learning about, plastic issues and really just your process of bringing this to life on campus?
So in 10th grade, I took a robotics course. And then in that class, Mr. Mealy actually introduced this idea to a group of his students. And he showed us just precious plastic as an organization. He was like, oh, this is something cool. And we could implement it or like build it here, a precious plastic workspace on campus. And he was looking for people who were interested in getting involved. When I heard about it, being a person that cares about the environment, and I've been interested in like technology and then also recycling, so that just all came together in that one project. And also then the other side of the project is the kind of management needed to like start this whole initiative. And it also, we planned to make products and sell them. So that was also a part of like business management, which I was interested in. So I thought it was like, oh, that's a great idea. I definitely want to be a part of this project. So then there was a bunch of students from Mr. Mile's class who wanted to take part in it. And then we met up and started talking about how do we actually start, where to start, how do we get funding, because it required a lot of funding, and who should we talk to. So we started with having meetings with Mr. Zurflo. And so he then requested, he said it's a good idea, but we need to like have everything planned out before we get any funding. And so we made budgets together with for example, Kanye West. He was also very involved in the fundraising for this project or getting funds. So we made budgets. We made I made a business plan for the whole like recycling workspace and also selling the products. We had to prove that it's a sustainable project that will keep going on in the school, that it's not only if we leave, we become seniors and leave, then the project will die out. We had to show that we have involvement from younger grades as well. So it was a series of meetings with Mr. Zorfo, and then unfortunately COVID hit, so then our talks kind of stopped. But we came up with the idea, maybe we should look for funding from some investors, like private investors or something. And then we came across the idea of applying to the IB for an MYP Innovators grant. So there we also had to show specific budgets and what we need, how much we need, what we plan to spend the money on. And we had to introduce the idea, say why we're passionate about it, why we want to do it, how will it contribute to our community. And after a bunch of, I think there were maybe 3 stages in the kind of competition, or we had to get through a few stages of in order to win the grants from the IB. And so luckily we did, and then the IB agreed to fund our project. And that's when the building the whole precious plastic in a recycling space in the container that you have in front of the school, that's when it started.
Mm-hmm. That's super cool. I think this really sounds like entrepreneurship, in a community. And I think it's very good that you guys are taking climate action, which is, I think, also part of the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes, I personally thought that it's a great initiative for the school, because this project, anyone can get involved, from the youngest grades to the oldest grades. Everyone can try. Someone who wants to be like building things can do that. Someone who wants to be more on the management entrepreneurship side can do that. Someone who wants to educate people about environment and the impact of plastic waste can focus on that. And that was also one of our main aims for this project, is to show that the harm that plastic waste has for environment, but then also say that there is an actual way to stop this. It's to reduce our school's plastic footprint.
Right. I think it's very inspiring that, we're taking action locally to make a global impact. And kind of switching gear to your model career, how did you start modeling since, high school, or, at a young age? How did you come across the opportunity?
At a young age, as I mentioned before, I got into modeling. Before I got into modeling, I was kind of a child actor, or I don't know what you would call a person that that plays in TV commercials. It wasn't many commercials, but there were some. And I got into that because someone told my parents that, oh, the red hair and everything, maybe you would want to try that. And then I got into an acting agency. I don't know how old I was. And then I got some photo shoots, some TV commercials. And when I was 14 years old and tall enough, they suggested that maybe I would want to try modeling and look for a modeling agency. And that's how my modeling career started here in Poland. Then I started getting more jobs with like photo shoots. I also still did some TV commercials, but I did some photo shoots for companies like Vela, the hair products, Pepsi. I did a makeup show for Chanel. So it was a bit of everything. And One Runway. And then as I was getting to the end of my senior year, I thought I should look for definitely to travel. I love traveling, and my dream was always to try living in different places around the world. So I looked for some agencies abroad, and I talked to this agency in Milan, and they were very happy to have me. So then now in my gap year, I moved to Milan for 2 months in September, October time. So that was a great experience for me. Not only did I learn a lot about the business culture of modeling, and especially modeling in Italy, and just generally how it was just another level to, because the industry in Poland is not as big as in Milan. Obviously, Milan is the capital of fashion in Europe. So that was just a different experience for me. And also I got to learn how to live independently, how to just live by myself, which was very fun as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I honestly, before this interview, I did some research about you, like through your Instagram page and everything. I found, well, you did an ad for Coca-Cola, I believe, right?
For
With
what?
Cola
For
or,
Pepsi.
oh, for Pepsi. Okay.
Close.
And also you were walking like model stage in Milan or, somewhere else.
Yeah,
Right.
so the Pepsi ad was something I did when I was still like modeling mostly in Poland. But on the ad, there one of the people involved, it was Kuba Błaszczykowski. It's a famous Polish soccer player, and I'm a big fan of soccer. I watch soccer, so for me I was having a fangirl moment when he showed up at the photo shoot. I didn't know, so I was like, wow. So that was a great experience as well. From other memorable also experiences here, modeling experiences in Poland, I was also on the cover of an album by Taco Hemingway. It's a famous rap artist, hip hop artist who I'm a big fan of, and I've been to his 2 concerts. So that was also a great a great experience, and it was kind of like a dream come true to actually meet him.
Wow.
And in Milan, the runway, that is also a fun story because it was actually very spontaneous. They called me like at 9 a.m. that I should be on a train at 12 to Bologna. And they just told me it's a job. And I was like, okay. And that there'll be more girls when I arrive at the train station. So I got to Bologna and we were like 8 girls. No one really knew if it's a photo shoot or a runway. When they got us to the place where the catwalk was, or the runway was set up, it was like an ancient staircase, and it was one of my first times doing a runway, so I was very nervous about tripping or falling, or there's a lot that can go wrong. Luckily everything went fine. However, to make it even harder, we had to go down like some stairs, and then along a runway back, and then up the stairs 5 times, because it was for 5 different Italian brands. And one of the runs that I did, my shoe it tied up, so I almost lost a shoe during that runway. But somehow I didn't pull off a Cinderella, and I somehow got up the stairs, and everyone was just when I got into the changing room, everyone was like, oh, bravo, we were so scared for you. And everyone was just like very stressed out there because they didn't know what's going to happen. If I just lose the shoe, someone could have tripped on the like shoelaces that were that tied up. It was a very stressful moment, and all the models were like, oh my god, the worst that could have happened to you, but you managed. So that was both stressful, but now afterwards it's kind of a fun story, and now it doesn't feel that stressful anymore.
I think you kind of answered my previous question, which was kind of just elaborating on your experience as a model on stage. Can you just talk to us about like what it really feels like to walk that stage, go down the aisle and
So as a model, I've done mostly photo shoots, which I probably prefer because you get to take like thousands of pictures. And a lot of people don't know this, but when you do a commercial or a photo shoot, it's not just like someone taking a picture of you. No, it's like 40 people involved with lighting and everything. For example, for McDonald's, there was even a food stylist who made sure that the food looks okay.
Wow.
And so it's a lot of people involved in those commercials and photo shoots, and you just redo the pictures to get the perfect one. Yeah, that's a nice emoji. So there's a lot of people, and you get to like take thousands of pictures to get that one perfect shot. Whereas when you're doing a runway, it's just that one walk, those 10 seconds or something. And if it goes wrong, you don't get to redo it. You just and there's still 40 people counting on you and like hoping that everything goes well. So it's a lot more stressful, I would say. But it also has, because it's more stressful, it has this adrenaline, when this moment when you're changing, when you're going out on the runway, you have to be like very inside you're very nervous probably, but you have to have this cold face, you have to look confident and just like give your best and feel confident that you do it good enough. So I think that is also that was also for me like a learning moment, that you have to like keep your cool and just do your best and still feel confident even though you feel very nervous. So you have to kind of keep your emotions inside. and but then I prefer photo shoots because I think it's just sometimes also more fun, and it takes longer than a runway. And you're getting this like many different looks or many different makeups. For a runway, you can also have many walks, because I did like 5, and then you also have the stress of changing your clothes quickly enough. So that's another part, because we get just once you get like behind the stage, you have to just run and like take your clothes off. 2 people are like taking your clothes off, two other people are like putting them on you, checking if everything is okay, and you go again. So it's there's more adrenaline and more stress, but I think there's also, because of that, there's also a different type of fun in it as well. Fun aspect in it.
I think that's a great answer. Regarding just, doing your runway, do you get to meet the designers who design your clothes? Or like, what's kind of the backstage environment there?
So in general, the environment, even though everyone has heard a lot of generally negative things about competition between models or like the industry, I was very surprised that everyone was very, very friendly. All the models were like supporting each other, and we were having fun, and everyone was like, oh, the stairs, and maybe we should all practice together. So we started practicing and helping each other. And whenever there was a model who was more experienced than I was, they were usually just like, oh, if you need some help or something, just call me or something, or text me. And everyone was very nice and supportive too. And also the rest of the staff, like not models, but like people from lighting, photographers, the stylists, the makeup artists, they were all very, very nice. It might also be that it's, it was in Italy, and generally the people that I met there were very, very nice and open. And but I think that the environment that I was in, at least maybe I was just lucky, but whatever work experience I got there in Milan and also in Poland, I never had any bad experiences. Everyone was usually very friendly and helpful. So but then, so that's how that was my experience with backstage. And when it comes to could you repeat the question once again? You wanted me to.
I was like, how do you get to meet the models who design your clothes?
Oh, if I get to meet the style designers. I didn't get to meet the designers on some photo shoot, on some runways you probably do, on some you don't. I think it depends on like but sometimes you get, I heard that like during when someone was there doing the big shows on Fashion Week, I met some models that were like, oh, I met Giorgio Armani, and we talked. So that's really that was like, wow. And so I think you do sometimes on photo shoots, sometimes you don't. When you do commercial photo shoots, there's always someone from like the client. So if I did a photo shoot for Orange, the telecommunication company, or Pepsi, there was some representative of the company to check that everything is okay. So there's also a lot of people who come from like whoever the photo shoot or runway is for. But as I said, I've been to like 2 runways, so maybe people who have models who have done more runways can better describe whether you get to meet the designers and talk to them or you don't.
Mhm. Great. One last question for you, Yulia. What would be one piece of advice you would leave to our super audience, maybe about your experience, in entrepreneurship, with the school designing the ASW Precious Plastic Center, or maybe, your journey in model, how, our super audience can possibly reach out for also opportunities in their home countries?
I think that the best advice I could give people is that if there's something that they're passionate about, and there's maybe something that they want to pursue, and it might be a project, it might be some kind of fundraising activity, then they should just maybe look for other people who also have the same goals or aims or interests, and maybe they would like to collaborate, because I think a lot of my not only precious plastic, but a lot of my extracurricular activities have shown me that like collaboration is probably key to success. That alone you can accomplish some things, but it's always better or easier to do it in a group. It's just having a success together is always different than just for yourself. And so I would advise people to seek out people with similar interests, and then together you can probably accomplish more, and you can get projects done like we did with precious plastic. Or another big fundraising event that I was involved in at ASW was VOSP, and that also showed me that so the Great Orchestra of Christmas Charity, it's called in English, and that also showed me how important it is to like collaborate with people who want to get engaged in the project and involved as much as possible. So I think you should pursue your passions, find people with similar interests, and just give it your best, and you'll accomplish something, and it will be easier to persuade other people to get involved if you already have a group that is passionate about the project or initiative.
Mhm. Thank you so much, Julia, or Captain Model, for joining us in Super Talk Show. It was really inspiring to hear your story. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a great interview.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.